started this recording.
Yeah. Can't remember if I wanted to go over. There was some stuff I wanted to talk about on Bonnie a little bit. And then I didn't take very many notes. I don't actually remember if I want to go over Dorado or not.
Well, I didn't take any notes, so ZQSNY4 Numbani. Right. Is it showing up fine for you?
Traveling to Numbani.
Yeah.
Defend objective A.
Let me change my settings real quick. Okay, so we decided to roll out with the bastard.
I just realized my volume is down. Okay. Alright. So yeah. So once we get control, we need to split really hard with our Green and Lucio, because again, the Lucio doesn't do anything for Bastion. Green needs to take angles, because like what the Bastion does is he makes everyone hide, right? As soon as you get control of the Bastion, everyone just splits off and tries to spam you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, right, you see how like Ian just like stacked right on top and he can't shoot anything the Bastion can? The Bastion can't, right?
Yeah.
So the issue is like we end up in a situation where like we're not doing it, right? Because like D.Va can kind of apply point pressure, but what we really need is another angle, right? So in cases like this, Ian, you don't even have to go with your team. You can kind of just sit main, to be honest. And that's totally valid, and just hide and wait for people to start dropping, and then you hit them with like the big left clicks. Or you can like go underneath, or you can go around. Like you can literally do as anything you want, so long as you don't end up in the same spot as your Bastion at the end of the day, right? You can go with your Bastion and then split off after that, right? Once you open space for you. There's a bunch of stuff. But the secondary DPS to your Bastion, the goal is to like work your Bastion to a spot where you can apply pressure, and then as soon as he gets pressure, you get to do whatever you want, because there's so much space for you.
Mm-hmm. And just something I noticed in this match, because I was watching mostly the Bastion perspective here, right? Given what the Bastion's able to see on the reposition, I would kind of prefer that Ross not go directly in here. I almost want him to push up here just to try and flush them out. While we have the McCree here, while we have the Bastion here, but like flying right into the middle of three people, like you do get sandwiched. Ross takes a lot of damage here, which I thought was kind of unnecessary. I didn't fully agree with this decision.
Yeah, it's definitely not the best. I think the bigger issue is that he didn't need to like fly over there. He could have just dropped and applied point pressure and started walking over there, and like if he ran into the monkey, he could just kill the monkey underneath, right?
Yeah.
Like your goal is to apply point pressure, not to flush the backline out, right? If you do want to flush the backline out, you do a lot better by booping them, right? And you can only boop them if you're close enough to them that your fly doesn't end before you get there, right? So if you want to boop them, you can kick them out from either side. Doesn't really matter. You kick them out into your Bastion's LOS and call that you're doing that, so your Bastion's already shooting, right? For the most part, you just need to chill, prioritize point, and prioritize like the heroes that you can shoot, right? Like monkey.
Very split there.
This is just really awkward. We felt forced to do something because like again, both our defenses are just kind of sitting together, not doing. Yeah, it's very awkward.
I'm gonna go back to it. Right. We send the Rhino over to do it.
You do what you gotta do, but this is just a very awkward push. It's just hard.
Yeah.
Watch your back.
That happens. I don't agree with committing the shatter there, but
Adaptive circuits engaged.
Whatever.
D.Va.
there's like 3 different fights going on right now.
Nerf this.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with having a lot of fights going on. It just like the whole central premise for comp is that we want every fight to be happening in LOS of our Bastion, right? So if someone's attacking you, you need to be able to be seen by the Bastion. Which is why like also going under like this or around Ian is good. You just need to time it a little bit better. Because you showed before your team actually pushed the high ground, so you ate poke damage, which McCree really doesn't like. These are some really good shots though. Yeah, so like once you flush them out, right, like your Bastion gets to shoot. But you don't actually want to fight them in like you close spaces. Your main job is just kind of to boot them into your Bastion LOS, and not actually like fight them until your team's like collapses, like in this case.
Yeah.
Like at least in that situation there, the McCree was available to help contribute to the fight, which I think is what you wanted in the first place, right? Was McCree getting some sort of other angle, even though if that going into the back hallway is not the most ideal version of that.
Hello.
Also, another really important thing is when we're playing Bastion comps, it's very easy to just sit on the cart, but Bastion doesn't actually want to be on the cart, right? Because imagine, just pause for a second. Like we just want to put our Bastion somewhere where we can actually shoot, right? So he can't shoot anything here, and if we walk into their kill box, then it becomes problematic for our Bastion, right? So in this case, their comp isn't the best for us, and they don't really have they're not really set up to wear us down. But it's like, for example, I don't know what a great example would be, but say like they have Blizzard, right? And we just sat on cart, and eventually we just walk into the like we walk the cart into the Mei, and the Mei Blizzard's like the Bastion dies 9 times out of 10, right?
I mean,
so we want
if cart gets here and they bomb it, like Bastion dies 9 times out of 10 if the Ryan isn't there to support him directly, right?
Yeah, basically. So what we want to do is we want to take our Bastion and our Ryan kind of like as a unit, more or less, and we put our Bastion someplace where like for example, on New Bonnie High Ground, we didn't put our Bastion on point, right? We put our Bastion on the high ground so we can shoot things, right? And then we start applying point pressure. So in this case, we'd have like our Diva walk cart, right? Or our Lucio, whatever the case may be. We have our McCree go and flank, right? Maybe with the Lucio, maybe with the Diva, doesn't really matter. And then we just have like our Bastion and Ryan just sit on top of this like car, for example, right? And now they can't peek us ever. Or not ever, but like for a while, right?
Yeah. Or they'd have to like push through this way, which is awkward.
Yeah, just like some place that like lets you see things, right? And that's really far away. So like when the cart starts pushing up, like either our Diva, probably our Diva as it starts pushing forward, will like take over the cart and push it and start pushing it towards that corner. And as it approaches the corner, they still can't ever peek the Diva because like our Bastion's still in the far back shoot, right? And then once we round this corner, right, then we move our Bastion into a new position, like maybe up to high ground or something, right? Where like we just want to set up our Bastion so that like he's not vulnerable. And the cart isn't actually the safest place of this, and it doesn't apply pressure early enough to guarantee.
Bastion's just a stupid linear hero.
Yeah, this is why Sim Bastion is good, is because you can just move the Bastion to good spots without spending time rotating, right? It's like one good spot to another. It's a good chatter. They're all focused on Bastion. They're all playing low ground. Get our big goals. Like right now, our Bastion should be rotating high ground, and someone else go cart, right? If we get on high ground on the back side, like how are they supposed to touch, right? We just have a Bastion and a Ryan on the board. Like what are they supposed to do if our Bastion? No, not that one, not that one. The one where we're freeze on. Yeah.
Oh, this one.
If we just have a Bastion Ryan here, what are they actually supposed to do about this, right? Like they literally can't do anything, right? There's just not enough time, especially with like Captain. But like we risk getting dropped on like this, right? Like if they drop, they would be right on top of Josh right now. Obviously, again, the comp's still not the best for this situation, but like they're also not playing super well. But it's just very awkward. Like again, do you see how close? Okay, so pause. When the cart rounds a corner, like think about how close the Bastion will be to them, right? Whereas instead, if he were to get off cart, right, and start running towards his left, yeah, to this room, he can just set up over here and just be really far away, right? If he does this with the Lucio to get him there faster and a Ryan to cover, right? And the BAP because you need to have your BAP, right? Then like suddenly, yeah, like how are they supposed to stop the car from moving, right? You just kind of want to think in terms of like these lines, right? You just draw a line with Bastion, and that's all the space you control, right? And you want to do it from relatively far away so you can secure everything. And then like as soon as like the position stops having impact based on where the cart is, you just rotate to another. Just because we're playing Bastion doesn't give us an excuse to be mentally lazy, you know? This guy's dumb.
Man's really trying to clutch it out.
Adaptive circuits
Like,
engaged.
Bastion's simple, but because he's simple, he has some really clear strengths that like you need to abuse, or else we're like not getting value.
I'll show them.
Like in this case, I remember you saying you wanted to go high ground, right? Just make sure you go with your Ryan, right? Get your Demon walk cart, get your Ryan going up there, and you guys are invincible up there together, right?
I don't terribly mind Bastion on the payload here in particular, just because like it's the same line, right? Because this high ground's a little bit more difficult to work off of. This high ground is fairly close to them, so like it's easy to get judged. So I don't terribly mind Bastion on the payload here in particular, but everywhere else, like yeah, there's a lot of better options.
Again, the issue is right. And when it moves closer, then your Bastion becomes more and more exposed.
You
right?
you cut out there for a second.
Oh, okay. So
The
again, the
what?
issue is like the issue is that like the cart moves closer and closer to them, right? So then like your Bastion becomes more and more exposed, and there's no cover, and it opens into a wider concave, right? So like yes, this position is technically okay, but the problem is people can use the cover, like the cart as cover. If you play off the cart and you just play in this position, if you play on the cart, you risk getting hit. So Josh, you make a really good call to like rotate. Just make sure your Ryan goes with you, and that way you play this elevated position where you have Ryan cover, and you just kind of sit here forever, right? And how are they supposed to push you and deal with the cart at the same time, right? But like, I just again, like this is a really good move, right? Just A, make sure you get your Ryan, and B, make sure that you do this like every fight, right? This can't be just like last fight kind of thing. And now you back up and play this position, right? Now it's good, right? Because they have to worry about the card and you, right? They can't do both at the same time. And this is why you don't want to be in a nutshell.
Ready for battle.
Anyways,
Ready.
that's Bastion.
Bastion.
I think I already said most of what I wanted to talk about under defense actually already, which is primarily that like
5, 4, 3, 2,
Josh wants to play like the
Attackers incoming.
he's sort of like the
Objective
The long sidelines.
sort of the left side of the high ground. So that way, because he kept playing like the right side, and then getting zoned by the monkey. And as Mercy would have to. Also, just in general, Owen, I still think you give them room there, even if they're playing dive and kind of walk through the choke. Just because, like you see all this like time you're taking damage, right? No one else on their team is doing literally anything because they can't. They're just hidden in the choke, right? Like this
You're
monkey's
denying
gonna
your
get,
team value.
yeah, like this monkey's going to get hit just as hard walking out of that choke, whether or not you're there, right? And all you do is like give yourself a chance to get isolated. Like it's like the monkey jumps past you, and suddenly there's a bubble behind you, and you get stuck, right?
I want to watch this slower actually, just to see like to break down why the damage comes through, and
Yeah.
it's you being split between two options and not being able to go on the aggressive as your team is getting pushed out and not able to do their job either. Like the monkey gets to do their job, and you didn't really get to do the same.
Like the dive really shouldn't be pushing through the top tunnel. That should be pretty free. But you sort of gave them an opportunity to clutch by playing like that.
I think we win this, but I seem to remember us getting blasted on the second fight with Ryan playing here as well.
I don't really remember. I remember we hold for a long time though, but very scrappily. Yeah. Plus, when you play that corner, you pretty much deny the other angle as well, like the coasting. Just shield people as they shoot. Like the whole idea of running like these double high ground sets is like to involve the other high ground, right? So,
Oh, I remember this because he was saying I wanted to shatter, and now the tanks are there.
oh yeah, we're kind of late. But this is what I mean as well, Josh. Like, yes, you did get hit by the monkey, but like, you see how awkward it is for Lucy to like come help you. She's like scared the whole time, and then she leaves. Also, if you don't need to drop, don't drop, right? Just chill on the other high ground. Especially when just play with Ian.
Adaptive circuits
Safe.
engaged.
Dropping is actually like you have way bigger risk staying where you are. If you need to drop, right, it should be like just dropping down to avoid someone pressuring you from above, right? Like an echo. And as soon as you dodge them, you go right back up because you can do that as BAP. And you can do big jukes against certain characters like Tracer.
Hello.
60 seconds remaining.
Again, with our Ashe. They use Dragon to zone out our rest of the team while they jump on our Ashe. And then, like, die. Nice crossing. Yeah, she does that. And that's like, she has to do that because she's not, either she's playing all the way deep in the tunnel with you, Josh, or she like has nowhere to go, right?
30 seconds remaining.
I did agree with this push by Owen.
What?
Oh, sorry. Oh my goodness. I didn't agree with this push by Owen here. I don't know how you felt about it. I felt like this fight was gonna be more important, even though the Ana's cut out, right? Like, I think the Ana's still cut out if we send like Diva or someone here, or as long as
So
Ana fights here and you keep everyone else around the corner.
I mean, Diva went the other way, so I think it's okay. Maybe pushing it was questionable.
Yeah, like look how deep he goes though. Right?
I mean, if he gets a kill, I think okay. It's definitely a little out there. Maybe that's too far.
Yeah,
At
no,
a certain
like
point, it
he
was
gets
too
killed
far.
out here too. Like he gets killed for this by the Ana because he tried. Now he's on the defense because he's got no healers, and
Like,
Ana
after-
shoots him in the butt and he just dies. Right?
At a certain point, it was too far. If you think you can get the kill, it's fine. Just generally, you shouldn't chase her unless you're pretty sure you can get the kill. Like, give you a shatter or something. Otherwise, like, just like zone her out for a bit and then like start backing.
And they win this.
Again, Dylan, you don't need to be on You realize that now, but like, it's kind of late, and you also went to their high ground instead of our high ground, so you're harder to like help. You have a hard time helping team as well, and then you get pressure.
Dein Schutzengel ist da.
Objective lost. Stop the payload.
Was there anything else that we needed to cover about the defense, or
Do we just roll from here? Or-
I don't remember.
That's good, Ross. Just find the monkey, kick him out.
Wait for it.
I guess by default.
Nerf this.
Mama's maybe
I
over-
remember that being called as excessive in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Ross said it himself, so I think.
Yeah. No, like we're
Okay.
aware about that one for sure.
Also, by the way, holding the spawn is really strong on the map. Like, just look at that spawn moves. There's one in here, in a tunnel, with high ground directly over it. And then there's one on the far right. That is also at the bottom of a tunnel, right?
It just
and
spits you out like right here.
yeah, and forces, and people aren't used to walking out that way, so like you can typically get at least one free fight win from the enemy team being stupid. And with our comp, we had very easy access to high ground, right? With our D.Va, with our BAP, with our Mercy, we had a lot of people who could easily take high ground, and then we can set up around that. So don't be afraid to hold spawn on them. As long as you have all 6. Or even if you don't have all 6, to be honest, unless you intend to back up. So either you back up and you buy
60
time
seconds
for your
remaining.
spawns, or you literally hold their spawn and hope that your positional advantage like will beat out do. Especially if it's unexpected, or you have ultras. So Josh, these skirmishes with like their divers is really good, but be careful at taking these skirmishes without LOS of your healers. This is why Zen, by the way, is really good in general. Is like you just like have perma harmony orb as long as you fight near his LOS, and the harmony orb lets you like take those duels indefinitely, basically. But on a or Mercy BAP is a lot more limited in that capacity, so it's a little bit harder. Let's now.
To raise my DPS.
10 seconds remaining.
Oh, who
So
did these
basically,
nano
instead of
on?
going to the rooms, either in front, instead of going deep into there to fight them, right? You either want to fight in front of doorways where your team can see you, or just like on your side of the map and you just kind of chill and mark them, right? Wherever they go, you follow them, stop them from getting in.
Victory.
Okay. Which one next?
Look.
King's Row, Temple of Anubis, Dorado,
Be-
Busan.
We kind of only saw Dorado, Busan, so probably just those.
We did or did not see those.
Those are the only ones we saw. Gerard and
Alright.
Bonnie.
Then do we want to do one we didn't see or?
Maybe. I just feel like I don't know. Whenever we watch maps we didn't see, it's very hard to like. First of all, know what comms were like, and also like it tends to drag on and on.
Yeah.
You
Let's
need
talk
to
to
watch
some.
it the first time, and then the second time, and then the third time.
Yeah.
Now
Just
traveling to Busan.
So one quick thing is you don't need to jump at the high ground if the person you're trying to jump at isn't easy to dislodge, right? So you don't need to jump at the high ground, Owen, unless it's like a hit scan, right? Or a Hanzo or something. If it's an Echo, jumping at her doesn't really do much, right? So what you want to do is you want to wait until they try to get the support just through the choke or the other monkey jumps, and then you just jump at their backline, bubble them off, and then you start running away or killing them depending on like how good your engage was. Either or, but you don't really sit there very much. You either like jump out the backline, try to kill them, or jump at the backline, then run away.
Yeah, like this monkey jumped in at the same time as Owen, so I feel like you could have dropped and bubbled here.
Yeah,
Like, just to
again,
make
just
that
like
play work.
yeah, jumping at the high ground is a good default if you don't know if nothing else is happening, right? But if like they have an Echo there, you don't really want to jump at it because Echo like really ruins monkey's stay. And then on top of that, like they're it gives like their diva a target. Their diva really should just be killing you right now with the Echo, and their monkey can kind of do whatever. This counter dive's okay. You should be on the with your Genji though on the Ana, to be honest though. Again, like don't focus tanks, don't focus divers. Your job is to kill backline, right? Brig, Ana. Those are your two people. Just want to hang out with them, and kill them.
The objective is now active.
And likewise, Ian, you also want to link up with that, right? You to some extent you're better at dueling, so you can like kind of mark their tracer keeper out. Well, that's
You
really good.
kind of have to duel too in the tracer mirror, right? Because you're
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to prevent that tracer from getting a jump into your backline by holding that lane control.
Yeah, but at a certain point when the backline walks into your space, you need to like join with your monkey to go kill them. So that was kind of just Josh alone on the backline when it should have been. Again,
Another
jumping to high
jump on
ground.
the
You don't
Echo.
really need to. This bubble's okay, but again, like focus on the backline. Don't focus on like the dive happening behind you. You're focusing too much on peeling.
Wait for it.
That was a good coordination jump, even though it was on a weird target.
All right.
I
Also,
missed that.
you don't need to ego primal the flying echo. Okay, maybe you did need to, but you didn't need to, you know?
Maybe your ego needed to, but like,
Also, yeah.
right, yeah. Now you just marked yourself for death with the Echo.
I mean, he was trying to like feed Dylan, but like you gotta control your feeding better than that. Oh, another really important thing. I don't remember if we've seen it yet already. But if you're playing high ground and the echo comes to kick you off before you like the fight starts, it's absolutely okay to drop. You don't need to hold the high ground. You just need to hold some place where you can actually contest the rotation when they try to rotate their backline in. So
Adaptive circuits
that'll happen when
engaged.
we're on our defense again. So
Winston.
not right now, obviously. Oh, this is double monkey. When they double monkey like this, and they like also gonna commit double primal and ball spawn, like you just take it, right? Like either you beat to live or you just like back out and try not to die. And if someone dies here, it's not the end of the world. This is a lot of ultimate. Yeah, so the idea is like if they try to kick you off the high ground, right, it's okay to just give up the high ground. You don't need it actually to drop. It's nice to have, but if it makes you a target and you just spend resources retaking like your bubble, then suddenly you don't have the ability to block them out anymore, and like the high ground doesn't do anything. This is a play. This is a play. Like this is where I said like Josh was in front, right? So like yeah, you did link up with Josh after, but like it should be you going up and like jumping in, and as you're in, he should be blading, right? Not the other way around. And also you need to clear this high ground for it, or go around the side. You can't just let this like these guys drop on your backline for free because you will lose your backline.
Right here, right?
So, but we do need to clear this high ground. Give Josh
Okay.
everything if needed to. You jump up there, maybe even use bubble. Clear the high ground first, then make a play, or just ignore them. Go around the side of the map, like the right side, or even the left side. Left side probably not, but you can go around the full right side of the map. And also, Tina, you need to be like next to Dylan. You can't like you're one of the best high ground contesters along with Josh in this comp, and B, like you can't leave Dylan alone when they have dive. You need to know that you need to know where all the dive heroes are committed before you leave Dylan, right? They need to be doing something else. And right now you're just on the opposite side of them. But yeah, he's blading, and now you're jumping, right? And do you see how he's missing half his like quarter of his health already, right? I mean, he gets nano, so it doesn't matter. But also, Dylan's dying. Tina's still pushing. Dylan's dead. In dive, you dive as Lucio. Your primary responsibility is speeding. Yeah, is like peeling for your Ana by either speeding around, booping the monkey, or like healing like damage, like so she doesn't have to nade herself all the time. A bunch of stuff like that.
I wasn't sure why we beat that there.
Just thought we might lose, so it happened. It wasn't necessary, obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
like
this is the spot where you get poked by the monkey and you drop your bubble, and then they just now can make a free play, right? They don't, but like you still don't have bubble yet, and then they go underneath you, and you don't feel ready to drop, right? Until now, right? So we get a grab, it's fine, right? It almost got eaten actually. Like you need to be ready for the play. So if that means dropping, giving your high ground, that's totally fine. Just leave, and have someone else like try to hold the high ground for you, namely like Genji probably or Lucio. Well, probably not Lucio if you expect them your Ana to die. So probably Genji, yeah. Genji with Ana pocket, maybe bubble if necessary, from Rosaria, and he just holds it for you, and then you just chill and wait for them to try and walk in.
It's only a game. Why do you have to be mad?
Alright, they take their monkey Zarya and they walk straight at us instead of like splitting off, so we got a free win. Big kill Josh as well.
Yeah, Josh was really looking for that one, but he got it.
The objective is now
That was a terrible jump by that monkey.
And they're just sitting here, they're not moving. Their comp can't take this fight, so.
I mean, they've got no way to dive onto us there too either.
I mean, like, they can't dive because they're not taking angles, right?
Yeah.
They're not making it split up either by playing point pressure.
No, I'm saying like when they're playing there, they got no way of diving onto us.
Yeah. Also, Ross, you tend to do this a lot, where you like, you just kind of split off really hard and then like get walled or something, die. So
Yeah.
be really careful about this. Also,
When we
if they're
say-
gonna go,
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say like when you say play diagonal to your right, like we mean like this, right? We don't mean like here, right? Because like that is still technically diagonal, but like look how far out you are.
yeah.
I think you get
And
rushed
also-
down here, don't you?
No, he goes back through the window. But while they're making this rotation, like don't stay for Ross here. Wait, like he's fine, right? We need to keep rotating to get back to the point, and if they beat us to point, we actually have issues. And that's what happens, I think. So they get to point, and we have to push into them now, as opposed to having map control advantage and having them push into our concave, right?
And we have to push into them because like even though we have control of the point, like we're about to lose it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of mandating that we come back.
And then like as soon as we get to them, they nano and push us back, and now we like we lose point and we lost the fight, right? It's like a double whammy. It just
And we
comes down
still
to
haven't
that
even lost the
ability.
fight yet too, and they're getting percentage, like in backing, and now we're getting killed.
And it just comes down to like the fact that like we were slow in our rotation. Okay, we're gonna push straight at them. Fine.
Yeah. So they get a third of the way, and we haven't been able to take a real fight yet.
Огонь по готовности.
I think a Ross split a little too hard here.
Yeah. I think if they're gonna split too, like we gotta do something about that because it felt like we were kind of standing there after our run died, just unsure what to do. One goes in, decides against it.
Wait for
This is a
it.
good boop.
Yeah, on the tracer.
Yeah.
So what was that? Like one good fight out of us since they've taken control, and we're at 80% now.
Yeah. And also note that they're running a Brig, and we have Alicia, so we should be running this team down like every chance we get. Oh my god, I hate this push. I'm just
Oh, this
not a
is
big
so
fan
weird.
of pushing the left, lower left. Lower left is like it's a lot like lower left on or lower right on Volskaya first. It's like it's one of the nastiest strokes in the game. I mean, this probably works, but like it's really sketch. It's also one of the best
how
spots
does
to get
it
ult.
tracer there? I just don't understand.
Tracer got sloppy, I guess. No, with the high noon. Exactly.
Огонь по готовности.
He comes out. Beat.
Yeah, we're just so incredibly stacked there because of our play.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is
And,
what
like,
I
notice,
want to
like,
watch.
Yeah, if you look at their concave, right? If you look at their concave, like they just dodged the high noon, right? And then they all spread up around a concave, and we're still walking out through a concave. We're not taking angles. We're just like funneling through a choke.
Yeah, Korean Tracer have different angles. Although Tracer gets killed there. This is what I want to see. I think the shatter just lands right at this dude's feet. Oh my god, actually so tragic.
Unlucky.
It was so tragic when I saw this because I was watching from Owen. Because I heard the high noon, I'm like, cool, Owen's gonna shatter the high noon, and he goes for it. And this McCree's out here with his like math major, just like knowing exactly the distance and how to triangulate, not being like he's in that. Tell me he isn't in that. Oh
He's the better player wins.
man, I was so sad at that. That I felt like Owen got robbed. But, no. All right, and that just won that fight.
Ready for battle. Ready. Two, one.
So this fight, Josh, so Doom Kree is actually pretty good, to be honest. Don't kill them a lot of the time. The big thing though is like you got impatient. Like you burned your punch, and then like you saw the Ryan was kind of low, and then you like committed your slam uppercut and immediately died. And it's like you just gotta chill, right?
And now
Your
the
team
whole
got
thing's out of
walled.
whack.
Yeah, your team got walled like for like having issues, right? And then like yeah, you already did your job, right? Just chill, make sure you don't die, right? We talked about like I mean you weren't here I guess for the stuff we were watching with like Maryville versus Northwood, but a lot of what they do with the brawl is like go in, and then after that like you get as aggressive as you want, but like you get aggressive to the point where you're sure you're not gonna die, right? And then you back out. So this punch is great, right? You just kind of gotta chill now. If you're gonna go for a slam here, it needs to be a very conservative slam. This is really aggressive. It costs you a lot of HP.
Like your team has to be able to go in with that, pretty much.
Yeah,
And,
your team's like currently backing out because of the Mei.
Yeah, they're all leaving.
So, like, yeah, you don't have to play Mei here, but if you're gonna play Doom, you need to be like very disciplined with how you take your fights. But yeah, and then after this, we just like walked into Mei wall repeated. So I'm not sure how important that is. In terms of like, there was one fight where we walled ourselves out and they got the wall anyways because the Mei was just sitting on the other side. So we wall ourselves out, and that's okay. It's just that remember, like when we use a wall, like we need to run away because we don't have wall, right? So, Owen MPDs, right? So I'm chilling, but like that's something to watch out for. Is like if we use our wall to get out, they're going to wall, right? So we need to run, and buy time. We saw this with like the Rialto game where like they'd wall to like block a high noon, and they'd have to like just sit in a corridor for a couple of seconds. There's a great wall somewhere. Josh should not be dropping by himself. This should be like at least Josh and Owen.
I remember Josh calling for help in that situation. But in that situation, right? Like I'm gonna go back to this too, just because I want to comment on something from a support perspective. At least as far as I know, right? So Josh drops on his own, then he winds up being the target focus in that situation. So now he needs help, and we need someone to contest the point. So now we all have to drop. Ryan goes first, takes this fight. Lucio goes with. Wall comes out, and now like we have people collapsing onto Josh there, and we have people collapsing onto the Ryan. Because Ryan's one contesting point, and Josh is the one who's most killable. And I feel like this almost takes resources away that Owen's going to need, because our BAP has to save Josh from this situation. And like, look at where Owen's at right now, because he's only got, actually, and I don't even know if Tina's healing him at this range, but like...
Yeah, to emphasize, where you drop Josh isn't necessarily bad. You just need, wherever you drop though, you need to be dropping with Owen. Owen should be the one for actually like if someone should be solo dropping, it should be Owen, right? And if like you want to drop, you need to make sure you're with Owen, because it's just really risky.
Yeah, like we pull out what feels like a nosedive there, but like things got really scary for both Josh and Owen in that situation. I don't think that's on the healers. Right, that's the healers trying to keep them alive. I don't know if you agree with that sentiment, Galen.
Yeah.
Огонь по готовности.
This is a really early grab.
Sorry.
This is
Yeah.
really early, and there's
I think yeah, don't worry. I think Ross already knows what the issue was. Someone said like we can grab here, and then he just like launched the grab.
yeah.
So yeah, just remember that when people call for your ult, that doesn't mean now. It means whenever it makes sense to, right? In some cases, right, it could be now, right? But in most cases, every time still walking in, just make sure it makes sense to actually grab them.
Yeah, we grabbed it and like forced it to work pretty much, and that didn't happen.
It didn't work.
Alright, let's see the walls here.
So again, like if we're gonna wall our way out, you need to be very disciplined about running away. Oh, I think we called for a wall drop down for the shattering. So again, this fight's really hard because like we don't have a wall, and I guess they didn't use a wall either. But okay, there's a wall. Yeah.
Now Owen's isolated.
We don't have the ability to counter wall either. This kind of sucks.
I like this wall.
Yeah, it's a good wall.
Oh, get out to that. Oh.
No escape. Yeah. And then the next fight, the mage is going to hide in the other corner. So again, like, yes, we can wall our way out, but it's expensive because wall's a really big cooldown. B, it's I don't know why I said B. I didn't say A, but B, it's predictable if we do it every time. And C, like, the fundamental of getting out of this choke is like just assume that like they're good. Like, just imagine if you don't have a mate, they do have a mate. How are you supposed to get out of the choke? And the answer is like you need to be constantly baiting and faking, right? And if you do that, then you can get out without using your wall, and then you have wall for their actual wall, right? Or they might even waste wall trying to catch you, and not get any value because they're too far away to capitalize, and then you get a free counter wall on their as they're running at you, right? That's what wins this map, right? Like again, you can do this with Doom, you can do it with Mei, it doesn't really matter. But the thing is, like, if we're always using wall to get out of the choke, we're gonna have issues. And this is like, this team was adapting over time, right? So the first time it worked, the second time it kind of worked, and the third time, like, they were just ready.
Огонь по готовности.
Oh, yeah, this is the thing that he was talking about. Well,
Yeah.
look at Alicia. Just because
Огонь по
I was reminded of it. Yeah, Freeze comes through and the doors come out.
I don't think he dies next time he gets frozen, to be honest.
No, I don't think he does either. But I just thought it was funny. Okay, and then what was the other one we watched? Dorado?
Toronto, yeah.
I have to manually import these, and it's hard to see with my old man eyes.
Yeah. The screenshots always feel really small until like you actually like pull them up in the browser.
Yeah.
Traveling to Dorado.
Alright, the attack, maybe not worth going over. It was kind of a strat, didn't work out.
Ready for battle.
It is 6:40 our time, and my brother has just made a pot of coffee.
Attackers incoming
He's,
in 30 seconds.
Gearing up for the day.
On a Sunday night.
He's gearing up for the day.
It is a school night.
Gearing up for the night.
Gearing up for the night. Dude's about to like grind out homework that he just didn't do. When does the fight actually start?
Ready.
We're here for a while.
Ready.
Alright.
Ready for battle.
Are we ready for battle?
Alright, we are.
Stop the payload.
Oh, this is the monkey that went around eventually and killed people.
I'm gonna have to shoot you down. Time to raise my APM. Matrix activated.
Yeah, so Ross, when they dive you like that, do your best to like literally just like instead of flying away immediately, try and fly at them, try and boop them off the high ground, and then fly back And then like don't go back to the other high ground, right? Just like go to the edge of so give me 1 second, sorry. So like fly at them as soon as they jump at you, fly at them, and then turn around and fly back and try and land on like the edge of your own high ground, right? At the edge of like the high ground you were just on, just like not like on the far side, the far back side of it. So try and land here, and if you didn't kick them off, like you messed up your boop and the monkey like didn't get booped off, then you can just drop down and get healing, and then go right back up whenever. But if you go too far away, then you don't have the ability to like reset, right? So like you use your fly to just leave, right? You use your fly to like fight for the high ground. And then also like Athena should also be up there with you, and with double boop, you should almost be guaranteed to like be able to keep the enemy tanks off the high ground, and then they should fall right into your like your main Rhine. In this case though, now like the monkey Genji going around was called, so again like that's your priority. Wherever monkey goes, that's your job. So like you don't even have to play here anymore. You know where the monkey is. Literally just go up there and meet him. But they get the surprise jump on her backline. They kill her backline. Right. I just got really mad. Good job on the front line though. Ryan May just kind of cleaned house, but really scary. Wall, good chatter.
Taking off.
Yeah, again, do you see how you use your fly to go from like one high ground to another? But like with the Genji, right? In most cases, as soon as like you kick him out, right, he's going to leave, right? Or as soon as you approach him, so you can just sort of fly at him, and if he tries to leave or dashes out or something, right, you just like fly back, right? Just fly right back to your own high ground with the range of your fly.
Boosters engaged. Time to raise my APM.
Oh yeah, this is a miscommunication about it.
Limiter activated. Game on.
Der Kampf ist noch nicht vorbei. Helden sterben nicht.
Nanoblade.
Draw.
Taking off.
I'm kind of surprised we didn't just die to that, but Amor was good. Oh my god, that poor Genji.
Dein Schutzengel ist da.
Back.
Now show
60 seconds remaining.
forward bend.
Genji's feeding. He used both his cooldowns.
Counting power forward shield.
Yeah, see, that's what you need to do more of, Ross, right? It's like fly into them, and then like if you don't like what you see, or you want it, or you have an important position you want to go back to, just use the rest of your boosters to go back, right? You didn't need to go back there necessarily strictly, but like again, like that's like the kind of concept, right? Like with high grounds, right? Like if you don't need to, like if you don't actually want to be in the other high ground, right? Just go back, right?
We're talking to
Hey, Ross. So like, I'm not saying like this is like necessarily the best time to do that, right? To do this, but like, just like more of this in general is really strong. This is spot you can be at. So this line, you realize like, oh, I don't like this fight, leave it, right? And just like more of that is just really cool.
where was? Yeah, if I feel like there wasn't too much ability to follow through on that shatter, but if it works, it works.
I mean, they're all in front of you, just sitting. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You kind of already win at that point.
30 seconds remaining.
Hey there.
Oh yeah.
Ten seconds remaining.
You're kind of out of position. You kind of do this with walls sometimes or windows, where people fall for window, you kind of just like walk straight out, trying to make sure you can get the window. But like try and find a position like that's normal with your team, right? Like kind of back here, right here, where you can still get the window. You don't need to be like going over here for the window. I know you're chasing. So if you want to chase Josh, actually to heal, jump over the wall. You don't need to like follow him around. But like this window is just like putting you dramatically out of position, right? And you need to be able to get this window. You can get this window from very much further back, right?
You get it from here for sure. Where the
And
diva
also
is.
just in general, yeah. This is not a Ryan comp, so the window fire strike becomes a lot less reliable, especially against D.Va. So it's not actually as important to get the combo. So if you want, you can just play somewhere pretty far back by yourself, and then just use it for yourself.
Yeah. Well, because
Um,
like this doesn't even really control the space now, right? When they're running a dive comp, because they're just gonna jump beyond it, and so like, are we really gonna be able to do much with the window when they start jumping us? I think.
I mean, it could, but the thing
It
is, like,
could.
you're compromising your positioning for this, and in terms of trades, it's a bad trade, right?
Yeah. I think the
Not even
value
right.
inherently goes higher if you place it like right here and you use it selfishly for yourself. I think that does more than it being here.
Yeah, exactly, right? You're just so far forward right now, like you're just risking a lot, and you're probably going to burn all your fuel.
Well, there's shift. All right, wait.
You're walking
In more than
into
3 seconds. In more than 3 seconds, I feel it. Okay, well that was for Ryan.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I felt it coming on, but
it's just really sketchy. It's hard. Also, in the middle of everything, it's just hard to see what's going on, right? So you don't know who actually needs help. But yeah, window to get a lot of value. Your position was rough, it forced an early shift, and then you also had lost track of it. Did you do that straight up, Josh? You did. Okay. Yeah.
okay. Do we want to look over any more, or do we want to just call it for the day?
I think that's probably a reasonable place to stop. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, no, it seems good.
Okay. So to summarize, is there anything I can summarize? So from the first half of the day, we watched like a lot of like top collegiate teams play Brawl, or Rush, or whatever you want to call it. And the emphasis is on speed over like decision making, right? Make sure that you make decisions like fast and decisively, and then worry later whether or not they're good, right? Make sure that you're
Speed over perfection as opposed to decision making, because it is decision making. It's just quick decision making.
Yeah, the goal is to build like pace of play first, and then work to like make better plans after that, right? And so all the stuff we talked about is stuff like that comes after figuring out things to do to improve pace of play. And especially when we're feeling tired and stuff like that, or like a scrim like this where people are just kind of quiet, our pace of play is like incredibly slow. And so everything we can do to speed things up, make things faster, right, more snappy, more responsive, those are all good things. And this is also why we need to listen to each other better, right? Because when people say stuff and they're not sure they're heard, they might repeat themselves, they might ask, like, because they get no response, or straight up like they try to do something and no one listened to them, right? And then they just die, right? So it's really important that like we're all responsive, we're listening to each other, we're not overcoming each other, and that like we're constantly thinking about the next step, right? And then from there, like we can start working about all these details we've talked about in terms of like where should the bastion set up, where should we do this, where should we do that, right? That stuff only matters when we're already taking fights in the correct pace.
All right. I guess that's it for today. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
I
my
don't know.
rant.
I don't know what else to add. Yeah, no, I definitely felt like the scrim was just a little bit sluggish. And obviously we didn't look over the two maps that we weren't there to witness, but just what we could see, it felt like it was a much slower pace of play. Even though we did decently on the maps, I feel like people were kind of mentally checked out. So trying to avoid that going forward would be beneficial to us. But we'll have to figure out more of like how exactly to avoid that mental boom. Alrighty, I'm gonna cut the recording then.
All right.